Nicky Lewis, welcome to The Beat Goes On.
Thank you so much, Gerard. Thank you for having me.
Nicky, last week, a momentous occasion in New Zealand's history. Last week, we saw the very first ever wedding show called The Guest List on television.
That's right, it was.
How can we have a great nation with 4.5 million people and no wedding show? How does it happen?
Beats me, but luckily we now have one, which is really fantastic.
And it's wonderful. So, weddings, wonderful occasion, wonderful institution, isn't it?
That's it.
But it did go out of fashion there for a while, didn't it? From the hippie days on, it was living together became the fashion. But I think it's creeping back in, that it's going to be the thing to do, isn't it, with young people?
It is, and the nature of weddings have changed. The nature of marriages changed. People are doing it in their own way now. A lot of people do live together. They even start their families,
and then get married later on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. People obviously get married, they get divorced, they get remarried. So we're seeing all sorts of different ways, and we're seeing a lot of same-sex marriages now. That the law has been changed. So there's all sorts of different marriages that are taking place nowadays.
This is where we get to the point. You're a wedding planner. Wow.
Yeah.
How did you get into being a wedding planner?
I was really fortunate because I didn't plan on being a wedding planner. It was a job that found me, and thank goodness it did. 14 years ago, I literally, by accident, became a wedding planner, and it was something that I was literally born to do. Love what I do, and I'm very, very fortunate that I have this job. That's amazing. And basically, by doing what I do, luckily, my couples have a seamless day and nothing really goes wrong. But yes, there are cases where people plan and have the best intentions, but a lot of things fall short, or unforeseen things do happen and are left to chance. And I think that's probably the main thing that where things go wrong, is things are left to chance and have the attitude of, oh, it'll be all right on the day, and there isn't a backup plan when it comes to things like
Plan
weather.
B, exactly.
Especially when it comes to weather and things like that. So that's where.
So the whole day is really fraught with danger, isn't it?
It can be. It can be.
And some people, of course, they create their own mayhem, don't they? By everything has to be perfect. That very statement, everything has to be perfect, can drive some people right over the cliff, can't it? And if you have you met people like that when you're planning their wedding? I
have.
Yeah.
Part of my
how do you cope with those people?
Part of my job is to manage expectations, manage my clients' expectations.
Manage expectations. That's the greatest line.
It's I do have clients that come to me, and I've had past clients that have come to me have got this wish list, and if you have an unlimited budget, you can have an incredible wish list.
You can get married on the top of a volcano.
Absolutely, and I can make your dreams come true without a problem. But the reality is that most people do not have an unlimited budget. So we have to manage all of those expectations. A lot of brides, they get so wrapped up in the planning that they can't see the wood for the trees.
Yes, exactly.
They get focused on the detail, and they're not seeing the bigger picture. That there is life beyond this wedding. That's a statement coming from a wedding planner.
I love it, that there is life beyond this wedding.
But yeah, it's okay. Relax. Enjoy the process. Don't get so stressed about it.
And there's the key to it. They get so worked up, so paying so much attention to detail, and everything has to be perfect, that they actually miss the day. They're sort of like zombies on the day. They go through the ceremony, and they're at the corner of, are those flowers right, or is this dress looking good, or is the groom doing what he's supposed to do, that they don't even see they actually have to watch the video to see themselves actually getting married.
Absolutely. And they're like that on the day, but they've also been like that for months and months prior to the day.
Exactly.
So for 6 months leading up to the day, they've hated the whole process. And again, what's the point of that? You should be loving the process too, and loving what you're doing and being excited about it, and not being absolutely miserable leading up to the actual day.
How many marriages in New Zealand would employ a wedding planner? Would there be that many, or would 10%, do you think, or even less?
To be honest, it's a question I can't quite answer. A lot of my clients are not actually New Zealanders, as in Kiwis. A lot of them are from overseas. They're international couples who are more used to having a wedding planner. The Kiwi mentality is still...
It's not here fully yet, is it, the idea?
No, the Kiwi mentality is still a case of DIY type of mentality. We'll do it ourselves, and it'll be all right on the day.
Yeah, just a couple of sausages on the barbie, and we'll be right.
Which is a great attitude, but unfortunately, sometimes that's when it does go a little bit skew. Yeah. But whereas as people coming from China and Singapore and London and other countries, America in particular, they're very used to a wedding planner. It's the norm there.
Yes.
Kiwis are adopting it, but a little bit more slowly.
But also the gay and lesbian market it's opening up too. They like to express themselves creatively, don't they?
Yeah, they and it's great. I mean, we're getting a lot of couples coming over from Australia because Australian couples still can't get married over there in Australia. So they're getting engaged over there and then coming over here to get married, which is fantastic for us. And whether it's just the couple themselves or they're bringing friends and family with them, but this type of ceremonies and weddings that they were having over here range from very small to really big, flamboyant affairs with dancers and drag queens and all sorts of things. So yes, they can be really creative and lots of fun.
Can you see a difference in a gay and lesbian marriage than the normal heterosexual? Is there a difference, do you think?
Not really, no.
It's exactly the same?
Pretty much the same, yeah. So no, I wouldn't say there's a vast difference. I've done one or two that have been a little bit outside the box, but then I've also done one or two hetero weddings that have been a little bit outside the box. So I wouldn't say on the face of it, they are vastly different.
Well, we're running out of time, but just very quickly, Nicky, congratulations on getting a wonderful show called The Guest List.
Thank you.
It's good, but it's not only weddings, The Guest List. You have other events as well. I mean, you have school balls, you have...
Yep, it's going to be school balls, it's going to be corporate events, private functions, anything to, like if you're celebrating a special birthday or a wedding anniversary, all those types of events
can be covered on the show.
Absolutely.
But Nicky, are you married yourself? Did you do it?
I was once, but I'm not anymore.
Oh, now tell us about your wedding. Is it too painful to talk about?
No, not at all, not at all. I had a very unusual wedding. I had a lunch wedding with only 14 guests, but I did get married in a tree house. So
a tree house?
In a tree house.
Wow.
Hence why I could only have 14 guests, because we're going to get 14 people in the tree house.
I hope there was a ladder.
There was.
And will you do it again?
Yes, I will do it again.
You'll do it again.
Yeah, I
and
would.
Will you plan your own wedding, or will you get a wedding planner?
Well, this is always the question, because while I would love to plan my own wedding, and being a slight control freak, yes, I probably would, but on the day I would probably have to relinquish duties to somebody else, because I wouldn't want to be watching my own wedding, but heaven help the person.
Will you get nervous and flustered and want it to be perfect too?
It would have to be perfect. But it'll say, heaven help the poor person who's going to be managing it for me. No pressure.
Well, now let's tell our viewers that the guest list, it's on every Thursday night on Face TV, Sky 83 at 9 p.m. So if you've got an inkling about a wedding coming up and you want ideas, or you just like weddings in general, they're going to love the show, aren't they?
They will.
And I think the highlight is, watching the show, is that you feature a couple every week, don't you, that have been married, and most of them have all got some very nice video of the wedding. So, and it is great to see them talk about that day. I mean, they can look back on it now with insight and
absolutely, and they've all got such interesting stories. I mean, we've got everything from couples who got married in a cyclone to cocktail-style weddings to people who planned their weddings while they were living in other countries, and and the challenges they face. So it's all different types of stories, and couples who are now in the process of planning themselves can get great insight from all those types of stories. In the first show, the bride said that she wished she'd taken more notice of the day, and I think that we'll find that when we talk to all the brides, that it was such an exciting day that they missed it. Yeah, pretty much, just to stop. Their head was somewhere else. Oh, Nicky, it's going to be a wonderful show. The guest list every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Look forward to seeing it. Thanks, every week. Nicky, thanks for being a guest on The Beat Goes On. Thank you so much. Thanks, Steve.